was in this same condition, and it states exhibit for ID 22. Is it stricken? It's fine. I would agree if it wasn't. Was in the same condition as the last time you saw it, right?
Yes.
Because the last time you saw it, it had been sitting for a while.
It was worse. It was worse.
Okay. But when you had it at Columbia,
Yes.
and January 12, 2018,
That's when I was released.
that was the day you were sentenced. Well, actually, okay.
I got released as well.
Yeah, because you were actually in jail pre-trial, and the day you got sentenced, you got a suspended sentence, and they released you.
All I know is they let me go.
Okay. And so you got a sentence of 3 to 6 years with all but 92 days suspended. Does that sound right?
No. I believe it was the 92 whatever days time served, and then suspended time after.
Right. Okay. I may have said it wrong because I have gotten a little bit tired.
Okay.
So it was 3 to 6 years as a sentence. All of that was suspended except for the 92 days that you had already served.
Yes.
So when you mean you got released, you were held on bail before the conviction, and the day you got sentenced, you were let out.
Well, they picked me up from a state prison. I did a bit in a state prison. They picked me up. I did 92 days here in Valley Street, and then I got released.
Gotcha. Okay. And so then you had a suspended sentence hanging over your head of 3 to 6 minus that 92 days.
Yes.
Okay. And that was suspended for 3 years.
Yes.
Okay. And then in November 22nd, 2019, you got another drug charge.
No.
Drug conviction, sorry.
No. Say that again. When?
November 22nd, 2019, you got convicted on another charge.
No.
Okay.
Yes.
That's wrong.
Go ahead, Attorney Smith. Go ahead.
So I think I was going to show you another certified copy of another conviction, okay? I can show you return from Superior Court, Anthony Badero, sentence November 22nd, 2019.
Sorry, I don't know anything about that. The last time I did time for drugs I came home in 2018.
Sure, because on this one you got a total 2 to 4 suspended. Do you remember that?
No, I don't.
Okay. And your attorney was Attorney Sheehan?
Yeah, that was from the old case. That's not. I have it confused.
Okay,
Can't be 2019 because I never got caught with drugs, anything after 2018.
okay. So let's take a look at this. On June 24, 2019, you were driving without a valid license, right?
That, yes.
And while you were driving without a valid license, they found drugs in your car.
No,
Basis?
no.
So, and I've moved to introduce this as the next exhibit, and I don't know where we are. Jay? Mr. Badero?
Yes.
Okay, by the way, you have some stuff here that maybe we'll take away because I'll focus on something else now, okay?
No problem.
So I have in front of me what's been marked as a full exhibit, a certified copy of your conviction from November 22nd, 2019. And we went over that first page.
Yes.
That's okay. So I'm going to go over the second page. And that second page is the sentence that you got on that conviction, right?
I see what you have there, but that's not what it was for. I was got caught driving without a license.
Okay. And you got, according to this document, you got a sentence of 2 to 4 years, suspended for 3 years, right?
Yes.
That means that 2 to 4 years you don't spend in jail or prison, it hangs over your head for 3 years
Yes.
with conditions that you stay arrest free and commit no new crimes and stuff like that, right?
Yes.
And another condition was that you got a LADAC evaluation and within 60 days, provide proof to the state, right?
What's late at?
Drug and alcohol evaluation. Do you remember that?
Kind of.
Okay. So now we're going to go to the actual charge that was based on. And that's the indictment. You've seen indictments, right?
Yes.
And the indictment is for activities that you did on or about June 24, 2019. Is that what it says?
Yes.
And the activity that you did was possession of a controlled drug. Is that right?
That's what it says.
And this was in County of Rockingham, right?
Yes.
And it was Superior Court, right?
Yes. Yes.
Like this court, Superior.
Of course.
Okay. And then you also had with that a misdemeanor for driving after revocation
Okay.
with a sentence on the same day.
That's what it says.
Okay. And your sentence for that was 12 months in the House of Correction, all suspended for 3 years, right?
Okay.
Meaning that you got another year hanging over your head for that 3 years, right?
Yes.
And one of the conditions here was that you not drive until you are properly licensed.
Yes.
So you got arrested for both of those things at the same time, right?
All I recall is getting arrested for driving without a license.
Okay.
No drug charges.
And so that the jury recognizes it when they see it later, if I may just sort of show
Yes,
them.
Renee?
Your Honor, just to clarify, the defense is asking IDV stricken needs to be marked full, the state has no objection.
Oh, I thought it went in as full.
It did at the bench conference. I indicated that it was full, so.
So November 22nd, you don't recall it now, but you didn't have a license then, right?
No.
And it sounds like you're saying today you were selling drugs in November?
I don't recall.
Selling drugs in December of
I don't
2019?
recall.
Didn't you say on direct that you sold some to Adam and Kayla?
I have, yes.
Okay, so you were still selling drugs in December.
I don't recall.
So when you were telling the state that you sold drugs to Kayla and Adam, are you saying that was not in December?
I'm not saying that.
When you said that, you weren't necessarily talking about December of 2019 when you told the state you were selling them drugs.
Say to repeat that?
Okay. Were you selling them drugs around the time that they stayed in your Audi?
I don't think no. I don't.
Okay.
Not that weekend. I can't say I sold them drugs that weekend. No, I know I didn't sell them drugs that weekend.
You know you didn't sell drugs that weekend.
No.
You can remember that clearly.
I'm pretty sure I remember that.
Okay. Okay. Well, let's talk about those food stamps. Those food stamps, didn't that, they sell you some food stamps when they were in Kayla's mother's home?
I don't know where they were at. I just bought the food stamps.
Okay. How about when they were at the fit shelter? Okay.
I probably did. I don't know where they were at I didn't go. I don't remember where I went to see them for them to give me the card.
Okay. Your Audi had a clutch, right?
Yes.
And the problem with the clutch, if somebody turns on the battery without turning on the car, the battery just runs down.
Yes.
And Otherwise, you have to put in the clutch and have it in neutral or whatever and turn it on and keep it in neutral. And then it can run for a long time and the heat stays on.
Yes,
right?
yes.
And Kayla didn't seem to know that and the car broke down.
Yes.
Well, the car battery died.
Battery died.
Okay. And, okay. You said that the picture of your car was in this same condition and it states exhibit for ID 22. Is it stricken? It's fine. I would agree if it wasn't. Was in the same condition as the last time you saw it, right?
Yes.
Because the last time you saw it, it had been sitting for a while.
It was worse. It was worse.
Okay. But when you had it at Colonial Village, it was in good condition.
Yes.
It was in real good condition.
Very good condition.
And you like to drive it around.
I mean, I drove it, yes, not to drive around.
Okay. And you kept it in good condition.
Yes.
You took care of it, right?
Yes.
And in November, late November, you had just been convicted of a crime. You had a suspended sentence on your head, and you didn't want to be caught driving that car without a license again, right?
True.
So you had other people help you drive.
Sometimes.
Okay. Adam was one of those other people.
Yeah, he has driven the car, yeah.
Okay. And Adam knew how to drive a clutch, right?
Yes.
Okay. Because and your clutch, because he had driven that car. I think you said on direct that you saw Harmony twice at Guilford Avenue.
No, one time at Guilford Avenue.
And what was the other time?
Before that, the day he took me to court in August.
Oh, so she was in the car.
Yes.
Okay. And with the boys.
Yes.
And at Guilford Avenue, she was there and playing with the boys.
Yes.
And you said that Kayla and Adam needed a place to stay Thanksgiving weekend.
Yes.
And when they came and told you that they needed a place to stay, you said that you would let them stay in your car for 2 nights.
I didn't specifically say 2 nights. I said they can stay in my vehicle, but they happen to only stay 2 nights.
Okay.
2 days, 2 whole days.
Okay. And one of those nights it ran out, the battery got drained.
From what they say, the first night, yes.
Okay. And you are saying that you did not go down and see them sort of squatting in the parking lot at Colonial Village.
No.
In their Sebring.
No, I did not.
And you are saying that you did not go down on a daily or every other day basis to connect with the family and see Harmony and wave to her.
No.
And you are saying that Harmony did not wave to you during that time.
I didn't. They didn't have Harmony with them.
Pardon?
They did not have Harmony with them
Okay. When?
when they came to see me.
On those 2 days or before those 2 days?
It depends when you're talking about.
Okay. Did you ever, are you saying you did sometimes go down to the car to see them?
Pretty sure I went down a couple of times each day,
Okay. Okay.
but each time they did not have the girl with them. It was
Okay.
only the boys.
And when you were questioned by the police, they actually played a recording of Kayla's statement, right?
Yes.
And they played a recording of Kayla talking about
Roach.
So they played a section of Kayla's statement and you got pretty upset with that, right?
I guess.
Got pretty upset with what you were hearing.
I guess, yes.
And you said that you never saw Harmony
I never did.
and that you didn't go down there
Let's
daily.
go. When did I not see Harmony? You're just saying I didn't see Harmony, but where? When?
At the Colonial Village.
No.
And that you didn't go down to the car on a daily basis. Right?
Well, 2 days they stood in the car. I went down at least a couple of times each day.
For 2 days, you went down a couple of times
At least
each
a
day?
couple of times, yes.
Those 2 days.
Those 2 days.
Okay. And you're saying you never waved to Harmony,
Never.
never waved to the boys.
Objection, Your Honor. Has been answered.
Overruled.
I'm telling you, she just wasn't in the car. How can I wave to someone that's not in the car?
Did you wave to the boys?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did. Yeah.
Okay.
The boys loved me.
So you would when you would go down there, you would see the boys and wave.
Of course.
And you want to have nothing to do with this investigation or Harmony, right?
It's not the way you're making it sound. I want to help you guys.
Who?
The prosecution helped find who killed that little girl.
Okay, so one of the things before they stayed in your car was you drove Adam and Kayla and the kids to get clothes out of their broken down car.
I don't recall that. I don't think I ever did that. I'm not sure, but I don't recall I ever did that.
Okay,
Why would I? No. I wouldn't stuff my car with anything. Let's put it like that.
you wouldn't know what?
I would not stuff my car with a whole bunch of furniture or bags or anything like that.
Okay, so bags that were from a car that people had lived in for 7 days, you never got them and packed them into your car.
I don't recall ever doing that. No, I do
Okay.
not.
And so you don't recall taking Adam or Kayla or Adam and Kayla or Adam and Kayla and the boys.
No matter how you put it, I don't recall.
Okay. And the food that you brought them, you said Thanksgiving leftovers, right?
Yes.
And then pizza.
Yes.
And Thanksgiving, if you had them in your car for around the 8th, Thanksgiving was over a week before, right?
Well, of course, that would be right.
Okay. Thanksgiving was about 10 days before that, right?
I guess. I don't know what you're talking about.
And actually, you gave the family Thanksgiving leftovers when they first came to Colonial Village in the Sebring.
No,
You didn't give them.
there was no Sebring.
Okay.
They stood in my car. If they had their Sebring, they would have stood in their own car, wouldn't you think?
Okay. And you're saying that they did not park out in Colonial Village for 10 days prior to living in your Sebring.
I don't own a Sebring. And if they did bring the car to the parking lot, then I didn't know that either.
Okay.
They telling me they have no place to live. I let them stay in my car 2 days. That's
And
all they stood. They left.
I do want to correct. I did say Sebring and I meant the Audi.
Okay.
So you're saying that you did not see the Sebring in Colonial Village for the 10 days leading up to when they stayed in your Audi.
I didn't see the car, no.
Okay. You said that the boys loved you. Had
Yes,
you
they
seen the boys
I have
for
not
more
seen-
than those 2 times before?
Before and after, yes.
Before?
Yeah.
When did you see the boys before?
I
they
saw
stayed
Adam
with
came
you?
to see me one time with the oldest one.
Pardon?
Adam came to see me one time with the oldest one.
Okay. And how about the others?
I guess the other one, they were with Kayla, I guess.
Okay. What I'm asking, so now that's 3 times
No, that's
that
not 3
you-
times I saw Harmony. No. Like,
Okay.
don't get it confused.
I'm not,
I only saw her 2 times.
I'm backing up.
Okay.
Okay. First time you saw Harmony, she was with her brothers.
Yes.
Second time you saw Harmony, she was with her brothers.
Yes.
You're talking about another time that you see the brother, but not Harmony.
Yes.
How many other times did you see that brother?
Plenty of times
When?
throughout the whole time I knew them.
Okay. Did you see the boy prior, more than those 3 times that we're talking about?
When do you?
prior-
But when are you referring to? Before Harmony went missing or after Harmony went missing?
I'm trying to get there. Before the 8th, when they stayed in your Audi, had you seen the son more than 3 times?
Of course.
When?
I can't tell you exactly when, but I've seen the boys with him with them.
In the 10 days prior to staying in the Audi, you saw the boys with them?
I can't tell you exactly how many days prior to the day I let them stay in the car, but I did see them. Yeah,
Okay.
I seen the boys,
Okay.
not the boys. Let me correct that. The boy. There was only one boy with him.
And what circumstance did you see that boy? Was Kayla coming up to see you and bringing her son with her?
No, Adam came to see me with the boy.
Okay, so Adam would come up to see you and he'd bring his son.
Yeah.
Okay. And did they ever come in to use the bathroom or maybe clean up their kids?
No.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Badera.
You're welcome.
Mr. Badera, what's your involvement been like with the legal system? How
Been very bad, sir. I'm not gonna lie.
Attorney Smith was just asking you about this time that the defendant came to see you with his oldest son.
Yes.
Do you recall when that was?
Don't recall exactly when, but it was before Thanksgiving.
Before Thanksgiving.
Before Thanksgiving.
You said that the 2 days they were staying in your car, that you remember that clearly, that you didn't sell drugs to them. You were very clear on that. Why is that?
Because it's like it's a family weekend. Like I don't recall selling them drugs that weekend. I don't even recall me having drugs.
Mr. Badera, let me ask you this. How many times have you allowed a family to stay in your vehicle?
I never have. That was the first time.
Was that the only time?
First and only time, yes.
Does that stand out to you?
Well, I remember, yeah.
The defense asked you about letting people drive your car. You didn't have a license, is my understanding. Is that right?
Yes.
And the defense attorney asked about letting people drive your car. I want to follow up on that. You said that you'd occasionally allow folks to drive for you.
Not really. I would drive myself. I ain't gonna lie. I didn't have a license, but I would drive myself.
Do you recall telling investigators that I didn't let anyone drive my car? I didn't let them drive it. Do you recall telling investigators that?
I'm pretty sure I did, yeah.
The them that you were referring to, is that the defendant and Kayla?
Well, I wouldn't lend them my car if that's what they were. I don't know what y'all really trying to say by that, but I would never have lent them my car. Yeah, I recall a time he drove me somewhere in my own car, yes. But I've never lent him my car to just be on their own and drive my car.
And the time that you're talking about where you lent him your car and let him drive you somewhere, when was that?
I don't even recall, sir.
Do you recall whether there was snow on the ground, whether it was hot or warm outside?
I don't remember any of that.
You mentioned seeing the two boys
Yes.
and them waving at you, you waving back. Were you referring to the 2 days that they were staying in that the boys were staying in your vehicle, or was that some other time?
Actually, yeah, that was some other time. I was just, whenever they saw me, they waved to me. They said hi. I would grab them, hug them. I can't recall every time they said they waved to me. That's what all kids do. They say hi.
Thank you, Mr. Figueroa. No additional questions.
So Adam did drive you around in your car, but you don't recall exactly when.
Of course, because it wasn't on a regular basis.
But it was more than once.
I can't even say that. I don't even recall that.
Okay.
I'm thinking it was only one time.
Okay. And when you interacted with the boys, it wasn't just waving. I think you'd say that they came up
Of
and they would
course.
hug you.
Yes.
So it wasn't just a wave from afar. If the kids were around,
I will.
came up to them and interacted.
All the time.
Okay. No further questions.
You may sit down.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, this would ask that this witness be excused.
Any objection to his being excused?
I'd rather not now.
You may sit down, but you remain under subpoena, sir. The state will explain that to you. Yes, and I think it's just about 2:30, ladies and gentlemen, so it's a good time for our mid-afternoon break, so we'll take 15 minutes. All rise for the jurors, please. Don't discuss the case. Don't do any independent research, please. All right, take 15 minutes. Please come back a couple minutes before quarter of, please.
She did say she wanted to end a little early for the monitor, so. I am.
So help you God.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Please feel free to have a seat. Since we're being recorded here for the day, would you please state your full name and spell both your first and last name for the record?
Yes. Ryan Heil, Ryanheile.
And Detective Heil, where are you currently employed?
The Manchester Police Department
How long have you been working for the Manchester Police Department?
since April 2013.
2013, so
Correct.
A little over 10 years then.
Yes,
And let me ask you, are you a full-time certified police officer with them?
I am.
Did you graduate from the New Hampshire State Police Training Academy?
I did
And when did you graduate from there?
the summer of 2013.
Do you remember your academy class?
151.
And let me ask you, in your time at the Manchester Police Department, first of all, did you have any law enforcement experience before you started working at Manchester?
I was part-time in Southampton, New Hampshire for about a year prior.
For about 1 year?
Correct.
Okay. Since you've been with Manchester, can you please describe for the jury some of the different patrols that you've been on, different units and assignments that you've had, but basically your different job duties for the department?
Okay. So when I graduated until September 2018, I was in patrol. In September 2018, I was assigned to detective.
I'm sorry, did you say September or December?
September.
September 2018. Okay. With regards to that time period of being a detective, what are some of your duties that you do right now?
So my specialty is fire related, but I also deal with anything that is adult related.
As opposed to what, when you say adult related?
So either juvenile or domestic violence. My area is the adult side.
Okay. Back in specifically January of 2022, were you working as a detective then?
I was.
Okay. And doing the same sort of crimes involving adults?
That is correct.
In January of 2002, were you involved and a part of a search that was done specifically of a 2006 Audi S4 with New Hampshire registration 4569334?
I was.
Where did that search where was that taking place?
In our evidence bay at our secure lot of the Manchester Police Department.
And what was your role in the search of that car?
So I type up what we call a crime scene note, which basically documents everything that took place during the search.
And what were some of the challenges that you and the other officers faced while trying to process that particular car?
It was a very biohazard conditions. Since the vehicle was covered in mold, we actually had to wear a Tyvek suit and a full face mask respirator during the search of this car.
And Detective, I'm just moving the microphone for a moment. I'd like to show you what's been marked States Exhibit 22. Do you recognize this car?
I do.
Okay, what do you recognize that to be?
That is the car that I searched.
Could you go ahead and just for a moment, please? What are we looking at that's all over the front of this car?
Leaves, dead pieces of trees, twigs,
And where was the biohazard that you had to deal with when you were processing this car?
all inside the complete interior of the car.
I'd like to show you what's been marked States Exhibit 23 for identification purposes only. Just have to take that down there. for me.
Okay.
And do you recognize that photo?
I do.
What's that a photo of?
That's the interior of the Audi that was searched.
Does that accurately reflect what you just told us with regards to the condition of the car when you searched it?
It does.
And also, I'm going to show you States Exhibit 24 for identification purposes only. And I wonder if you could take a look at that photo.
That is also the interior version in the trunk of the vehicle that was searched.
The trunk of that Audi S4.
That is correct.
Does that photo accurately depict the condition, the same one that you saw when you were part of that search back in January of 2022?
It is.
Other than the fact that both of those photos had small little red labels down on the corners, have there been any other sort of changes or alterations with regards to that photo based upon your memory of what that image looked like on that day?
No.
At this point, Your Honor, I'd ask for identification to be stricken from States Exhibits 23 and 24.
Without objection.
The ID is stricken, not 22, just,
Oh, you already had
22
22
is
is already
already
full,
full.
yes, okay. The ID is stricken on exhibits 23 and 24. They're entered as full exhibits.
Mr. Hall, I'm going to go ahead and show you States, and permission to vote, Your Honor.
Yes,
I'm going to show you States Exhibit 23, this particular one. Again, what part of the car is this?
That is the interior front of the vehicle that was searched.
Interior and front?
Yes.
Okay. You said that you had to wear Tyvek suits. With regards to the interior, what was the interior color supposed to be?
It was a lighter color.
A lighter color?
Yes.
Is any particular color, like gray, like tan,
I believe it was a creamish color.
kind of green color? So with regards to the color that we're seeing on the seats, what's that on the seats here?
That is, I believe it's mold.
Also showing States Exhibit 24, you said this is the trunk photo, correct?
Yes, sir.
With regards to this photo, do you recall, was this the condition of the trunk when you guys opened the trunk? Or were there other items that have been taken out?
There was a large amount of items that were removed prior to that photograph.
Large amount.
That is correct.
What kind of items are we talking about that you find inside this car?
It was a large array. It was a lot of household items, towels, clothes, masks, like COVID masks.
COVID masks?
Yes.
Nonetheless, did you and the other officers still try to process that vehicle?
We did, yes.
Okay. And how did you go about doing it with a vehicle that looked like that?
All of our skin was covered up just because of the biohazard conditions of that car. We did a very slow search of the vehicle. We did it is we did seat by seat, so make sure we did not miss anything in the car itself.
And from that, were there a number of items that were taken and placed into evidence that day, taken out of that car?
Yes, there was.
And in the end, were you yourself able to determine whether any of those items had any relevance to the disappearance of Harmony Montgomery? Just based on your own knowledge?
No, I did not know that.
And with regards to those particular items that were taken out of that car, where did they go when they left the evidence bay, or excuse me, the garage bay where you were working on the car?
They would have got secured at the evidence, which is on the second floor of the Manchester Police Department. So we were on the ground level, and it would have gone up to the second floor, been secured that way.
Are you aware that some of the evidence in this case, in general, was taken down to a place called DNA Labs International in Deerfield Park, Florida?
Yes,
And how are you aware of that?
I was one of the detectives actually that brought some of the evidence back once it was finished being processed from Florida.
Did that include any large pieces of evidence?
Yes, it did.
Okay. Do you recall what those large pieces of evidence were? And by large, I mean physical.
Yes, it was a ceiling tile was one of the items.
How big was it?
We got a full-size SUV, and if you lay it flat, it barely fit in the back seat of the SUV laying flat. So it was very large.
Was there any other sort of large items that came back from that particular lab after testing?
Yes.
What else?
We brought three different pieces of evidence back. Not all were involved in this case, but also some were railings that were part of the ceiling tile that was wrapped up and placed in a bag.
And with regards to getting those back from Florida, can you just describe for the jury how those came back and how you were a part of that?
So myself and Detective Scott Riley actually drove from South Florida all the way back up here in the SUV with all the items with us.
While driving with those items, did you ensure that they were not left alone at any time during that drive?
That is correct. It was secured in our possession the whole time.
Let me just have a moment, Your Honor. All right, Detective Heil, thank you very much for your time. I don't have any further questions for you. I believe defense counsel may have a few.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And good afternoon to you. My name is Jamie Brooks.
Good afternoon, sir.
I just want to make sure I heard this right. So June 29th of last year, you picked up some evidentiary items pertaining to this case from a DNA lab office in Florida, correct?
That is correct.
Did you also pick up items belonging to a separate case?
There was multiple cases that we're picking up items for, yes.
So when this kind of a trip is made, I'm taking it's not that often. It's kind of like one-stop shopping. You'll just pick up everything that's ready to be brought back.
Yes.
Thank you.
Just one question, Your Honor. To your knowledge, Detective, how many times has a trip like this been done to DNA Labs International?
It's the first time that I've been made aware of it.
Thank you. That's all.
Anything further, Attorney Brooks?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
You may sit down.
Thank you, ma'am.
Your Honor, at this this time, the state would call Christina Lubin to the stand. Just up on the court. Ms. Lubin, if you would please remain standing for a moment, and please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you give this jury will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. Please feel free to have a seat. Ms. Lubin, as we're being recorded here today, would you please go ahead, state your full name, and then spell both your first and your last name for the record?
Christina Lubin, Christina Lubin.
And Ms. Lubin, what town do you live in?
Manchester,
How long have you lived here?
24 years.
And are you working right now?
I'm self-employed.
Okay. And what are some of the things that you do being self-employed?
Deliveries, flipping furniture, and a hired-in server.
And in addition to living here in Manchester, is your residence currently on Dubuque Street?
Yes,
And let me ask you, do you have a daughter?
yes.
And what's her name?
Kayla Montgomery.
Do you know someone by the name of Adam Montgomery?
Yes.
Who was he?
My daughter's husband.
You also know someone by the name of Harmony.
Yes.
Who was she?
Adam's daughter.
Go ahead and show you State's Exhibit 101. You recognize this man?
Yes, I do.
Who is this?
Adam Montgomery.
When did you first meet Harmony?
It was shortly after Thanksgiving in 2019.
So you only got to know her for a small time,
One time, yes,
one time. Where did you see her?
at my house.
And I believe you said it was right around Thanksgiving. Is that appropriate?
It was shortly after Thanksgiving, yes.
To your knowledge, was that before or after they got evicted from 77 Guilford Street?
I believe that's after they got evicted.
Stephen, beginning in the winter, December of 2019, at some point, did you receive a phone call from your daughter?
I spoke to her a couple times. I'm not sure exactly which particular one you're.
Let me be more specific. At some point, did you ever see her and Adam and the two boys at your house, but not with Harmony?
Yes,
And when did that occur in December of 2019?
that was it was before December. It was shortly after Thanksgiving because I had just put my tree up, and I don't remember the exact date. I just remember shutting off the overhead lights so that the kids could see the Christmas lights and the ornaments.
And that's when you saw Harmony that
That's when I
time?
saw Harmony.
Later in the month, did they come back to stay with you? I'm sorry, for a longer period of time than just one afternoon?
Yes.
And when they came the second time, was Harmony still there?
No, she wasn't.
When did you find out that they had been evicted from 77 Guilford Street?
Kayla had called me at one point before seeing them at my house
Mhm.
about having a flat tire and needing money for it. So I was leaving to leave for the day. So I left them money in a cooler in my side hallway so that they could get their tire fixed.
You left the money in a cooler?
Yes.
Could you describe what did the cooler look like?
It was a red cooler with a white top that would flip open.
Later on, when you saw them next in December, I believe you testified a moment ago that they did not have Harmony at that point. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. Where did you first see them and how did they get to your house that day?
I picked them up at my sister's house. They went there because they had no place to go. I guess their car broke down at that point, and they had nowhere to go.
Okay.
My sister said they
Well,
definitely
hold on
couldn't
just a
stay
second.
there.
I don't want to necessarily ask you what somebody else said at this point, but I appreciate that. Let me ask a few more questions about what you just told us, though. You stated that you picked them up. What kind of car were you driving?
I had a green minivan, a Ford minivan.
So were you able to fit your daughter, Adam Montgomery, and the boys in that minivan?
Yes,
Did they have anything else with them? Did they have any luggage with them?
they had some bags with them. I don't remember exactly what.
Um, this second time when they were there without Harmony, did you ask Adam Montgomery where Harmony was?
I asked Kayla.
You asked Kayla. Um, once they were there with you, how long did they stay before they moved on?
They were there a couple of weeks. I think it was like December 29th, 30th, right around then.
Do you know where they moved to when they left you?
They went to Fit in Manchester.
And FIT, is that short for the Families in Transition Shelter?
Yes.
When they were spending time with you, if you could just go a little bit into detail for us to explain your particular apartment in your building. How, if I were to come visit, how would I be able to get inside your apartment? What are the doors and where are they?
There are 3 doors to my apartment. I'm the full bottom floor. The very front door facing on Dubuque Street is where the mailboxes are, and that door is always locked. There's a middle door to the left-hand side next to a tree, and that's the side door that I have a door to my apartment there.
Mhm.
And the people that live on the second and third floor use that door to go up and down the stairs. Then there's a back door where I park my car, and that's the door that I use as my main entrance.
When you said before that you had left money for the family and you had left it in a cooler, where was that cooler located in relation to these 3 doors you just explained?
The middle door that's next to the tree.
That's next to the tree?
Yeah.
So that's the middle door. And you mean the tree outside, not a Christmas
Right,
tree, I
right.
take it. Okay.
Yes.
That particular hallway, the door in and out of that hallway, is that, first of all, is that a hallway that's just yours, or is that a common hallway that other people can use to go up and down
That's a
stairs?
common hallway.
Common hallway. And the cooler, was that stored inside a locked part of your apartment, or was that out in the common hallway?
That was out in the common hallway.
When they stayed with you for those couple of weeks in December, what doorway did they come into your apartment? Did they go in from the back one that you described for yourself, or from that common hallway?
They went through the common hallway.
And did they have a car with them while you were there? Did you see that they owned a car at that point?
In December, no, I didn't see a car. They didn't have a car.
You stated that your apartment's on the ground floor. Is that a first floor, or is this like a basement apartment?
No, it's the first floor.
First floor. And that hallway, what else is in that common hallway besides your cooler that you stored there?
There's a door that goes to the basement that's paddle locked. There's there's an entrance to my apartment that goes to my dining room.
Mhm.
And then there's the stairs to the second and third floor.
The door down to the basement, I believe, is that locked? Not locked.
Yes.
That's locked one. How long had you owned that red cooler in the hallway?
Couple of years I used it for basketball, for the basketball team.
Did you always store it in the hallway?
No, sometimes it was in the apartment. Sometimes it was in the hall. Most of the time it was in the hall when basketball was all done.
You said a moment ago that you left money in the past there for Kayla and for the defendant. Was the cooler in the hallway when you did that?
Yes.
And how would you leave that money so that somebody else wouldn't take it?
So it was next to my apartment door, at the end of the hallway. And I would put money under a piece of cardboard and then close the cover.
So the cardboard was inside the cooler?
Yes.
I'd like to show you what's been marked States Exhibits 28 and 29.